I, I just have to make myself look pretty beforehand. You know, it's hard to keep
You're
this.
always you're always pretty.
That's not possible. Oh, hello. What was scheduled for the
Long
wrong day?
day.
What did I do? Did I break it again, Noman Garden? I'm sorry. The welcome everybody. Welcome to Dragonmount. I hope everyone's doing good. Noman Garden, I'm glad to see you here early this time. Obviously, look, we have our lovely Crystal back. Equina. What is that? Why is that reminding me of something right now?
I don't
Zelda?
know.
Equina?
I don't think that's the direct name. Like I was definitely in a big Legend of Zelda phase when I first started role playing writing on Dragonmount.com. However many years ago that was.
Oh shit, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It may have changed for your time zone, Noman Garden. I'm not sure. That's weird. But
Bizarre.
yeah, that's odd. That's odd that
Here we
it did
are.
that. Yeah, we're here now. Like it said on the thing, it's showtime on our little thing. So yeah, that's odd. Well, anyway, welcome. We're gonna be watching episode 7,
Evan.
The Dark Along the Ways today. Yeah. We're waiting for our special guest will arrive soonly. They said so. We're gonna stall for time. So, how's we haven't seen you in like a month, Crystal. How's things been?
Gosh,
What have you murdered any children or parents at school?
I have not murdered any children or parents. I had to deal with the lovely virus that shall not be named, and
Oh boy,
I've been
me
in
too.
recovery mode from that in the holidays. I do feel like the brain fog is better until, late in the evening, and then I get a little loopy. But before we came on, I was telling Tom I'm excited. I'm going to start a book club, and it is all part of my plan to have local friends to talk about Wheel of Time with, because we've decided we're each going to pick a book for us to read. And so when I come around, I'm going to push Wheel of Time on them, whether they like it or not.
So obviously you're starting with Eye of the World, right?
Well,
Okay.
right.
Oh,
No, we're just going to jump into A Memory of Light. We're just
well,
going to.
yeah, I mean, I don't ascribe to this, but I've seen people start with New Spring, like, or tell people to start with New Spring, which I think is a little weird. But
No.
uh, are you gonna? So sometimes, depending on the person, it depends on if I know, like, some of my friends like to have a little bit of backstory or like to have a couple, some things explained to them so that they don't have to. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's just nowadays or if it's just certain people. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It would be weird to start on New Spring. I've seen people say that that they like it though. I don't know. It's weird. But certain friends of mine
I'm
appreciate
hoping.
the uh um like an explainer of the prologue. So is that something you've ever done before or you consider doing for your book club?
I have not, but that's probably a good idea. The only person that I've ever convinced, and it took 20 years to read it and the television show, was my mom. And she definitely just asked me questions afterwards. And I tried to give her a little bit of information, and then I let her borrow wherever it went. Oh, it's up top, my companion, so she could look some things up too.
Oh,
And
that's
I will
cool.
probably bring my companion if I can get them into it.
Yeah, that
I
would be awesome.
So this is just local where I am, but I would love to do a reread with people. I've read the entire series. I've lost count how many times, because I would always go back and restart every time a book came out. But I would love to start one online with people. I love going through the journey again, because I always find something new.
I'd be totally down for that. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's something that we'll do. We'll talk about that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to. I haven't sat and reread the entire thing too, but I wouldn't want to do it. Um, Maybe we could do like large chunks, break them into like a couple of parts. Reread large portions of the book and then sit and chat. Yeah, that would be a lot of
That'd
fun.
be fun.
Yeah. All right, yeah, so Light Blinded Fool, totally. Yeah, that's totally something that I would wanna do. Um, so reading right now, though, I actually just read, a friend of mine who is also an author. She's been to a bunch of the conventions. She went to most like the thing that people might remember her from though is Jordan Con. Her name's Sarah Sover, Sarah J. Sover. She wrote a few books. The one that I really like though, the one that I just recently read was Fairy God Murder. Hey, what's up, Rosa? She so the book is urban fantasy, so it's set in like, our world, except there's like, the secret supernatural world that kind of exists alongside our world. And the tagline of the book is my fa- my fairy godmother wears combat boots. Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
fantastic. The story is basically a girl, a fairy godmother has her first charge, her first princess, and she's murdered. And then she spends like 10 years trying to find the murderer who has become a serial killer. So it's a really interesting read, unique take on the fairy because that's what it's fade to black, as in the fae, like it's spelled
Buffet.
F-A-E.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that I just read is Fade to Black. The first one is Fairy God Murder, and the second one is Fade to Black. And I just read Fade to Black, and it was really fantastic. There is a um, she's writing another book set in this world, and I know my friend Jeff isn't watching this right now, so we're safe. So he won a contest at Jordan Con a couple of years ago and got his name in the first book, and he was killed. And I was talking to him at the convention, and she walked up and she was like, "Oh, hi, blah, blah," blah," and then he walked away, and she's like, "Oh, how do you know Jeff? I'm putting him in my next book." And I was like, "Oh, I've been friends with him for like 15 years," and I told her this story about how we played a board game that had a traitor mechanic in it, and I killed him a bunch of times, and it was really funny. And she was like, "Oh, well, I'm killing him in this first book, but I'm thinking about bringing him back in the second book. Maybe I can have you kill him in the book again because he's coming back as like a zombie." And I was like, yes, please." So in one of the next books, his character, who is like just a side, nothing, not like it's not a spoiler to tell you that he dies. Um, she's gonna have a character named Tom kill him again. So I'm
That's
really excited.
funny.
I can't wait for him to read that. The game that we were playing was Battlestar Galactica. If anyone is into like um, cooperative games that have a trader mechanic built into it, it's a ton of fun. If you've ever seen Battlestar Galactica, it is perfectly themed. Like the theming is done so well, and it's a lot of fun to play. Basically, the entire game is just trying to figure out who the Cylon is, which is, for those who don't know, is basically clone robot versions of people, and it's a ton of fun.
Fun.
But yeah, so I just finished her book, fantastic. Sarah J. Sover. I'll throw a link in chat for people. You should definitely go and check her stuff out. Uh,
Fairy Godmother Strikes Back.
yeah. She what was the other one that she did? It's like a take on uh what's the one Kaiser Sose, the Kevin Spacey.
Um,
Um I mean, before he was, before everyone knew that he was terrible.
a
It's an
horrible human.
older, yeah, it's an older movie. Shit. The Usual Suspects. Yeah, it's
Nothing knows everything.
yeah, he does.
Everything. Oh my
My,
god.
I couldn't remember the name, but yeah, no. So it's she wrote a book that's a take on that. It's I forgot what it's called. Where is it? Double Crossing the Bridge. That's what it is. Here, I'm gonna post a link to her stuff in the chat. Double Crossing the Bridge is basically like a group of orcs doing like on a heist, which is kind of like what The Usual Suspects is. It's a ton of fun. But she writes for what is it? John Falstaff Books. John Hartness's publishing company, Falstaff Books. And if you've ever been to JordanCon, you've met a Falstaff book author because they're plentiful at Jordan at not just JordanCon, but most of the Southern conventions, mostly in Georgia, but they get all over the place. Hey, Sparkles friend, what's going on?
Hey.
Oh, Robin Hobb is fantastic as well. I've never read Fool's Assassin, but I've read some of their other books, and I really enjoy their books. I haven't been able to really get into, like, I don't know if it's been the ADHD and like the pandemic and like everything. It's been hard for me to sit down and read. And Fairy Godmurder, which was like last year or the year before, I read that in like a month, and then Fade to Black was the next book I read, other than, picking up Wheel of Time here and there and Sanderson's here and there to touch up on stuff to prep for this kind of stuff.
It can't take me a month to read a book. If I pick something up, I either finish it within that first week or I don't finish it. Like I fall off, which is where I keep falling off on my my Wheel of Time rereads. I tend to fly through things, especially if I'm super interested.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I used to do that. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if the ADHD is just getting worse as I get older, but like it's
video games, Tom. It's the video games.
It's possible. I don't know. I have been playing a lot more video games. The book I really want to read though, I haven't read the final book in Scott Lynch's The Gentleman Bastards series, which if you haven't read that is absolutely fantastic. He's a ton of fun. It's like a group of young thieves, and there's a light magic system in it. It's the dialogue is just fantastic. The story is great. Their thieving group is called the Gentleman Bastards, and it's a ton of fun. We're gonna give our guests like another 5 or so minutes, and then we'll get started on the episode, because it is I think it's 56 minutes this week, so I don't want to take too long. So he might just pop in a little bit.
I have seen probably episode 7 and episode 8 of season 1, the very least of the entire series.
The show, not regretfully, but like I've watched it so much now that it's like it's not as, I've watched the first season so much that it's not as like impactful as it was the first time I watched it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's 61 minutes for the entire run, but I wasn't counting the final credits. Ooh, but hold on one second, because there's, look, here comes an awesome guest. Yay!
Breaking news, I'm here.
Yay! What's going on, man? We were stalling for time talking other books that we've read.
All right. Well,
are you reading any books right now?
I am reading
Christenson from Weekly Wheel News.
I am reading Words of Radiance. I have not yet read the Stormlight Archive, so this is my first time through it. I'm getting very, very close. Within, I want to say, like an hour of finishing book 2 on Audible. So
that's awesome. How have you been liking the Stormlight so far?
I like it. It took me a long time to get into. When I first started reading it, it was like I want to say like right after A Marry Me a Light first came out. I think it was out then. At least I was working at the same place.
The first book was.
Yeah, okay. I was working in the same place, so I was sitting in the cafeteria, and I tried to read it on an ebook. And I was like 100 pages in, and I was so lost. I didn't know what the heck was going on. And so I like had to put it down because I couldn't figure out my left from my right or whatever, So So I let it sit on the shelf for quite a while, and then eventually several years later, I had a big huge job waiting for me out in the garage, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna download the audiobook, and I'm gonna let Michael and Kate try to explain it to me, and I'll just be in the zone doing what I'm doing and soaking it in, and maybe I won't like think and be confused so much, and I'll just kind of take it in by osmosis, and that worked a lot better because I didn't have nearly that learning curve at the world building as I did that first time, and yeah, so I'm enjoying it so far.
Have you read the other Cosmere stuff?
No, this is my first Brandon Sanderson, aside from what he did for the Wheel thing.
Okay, that's probably going to be that might be why you're having a tough time. Yeah, no, I always tell people to start with Mistborn first, or even like Elantris or something like that. But it's not it's not wrong or bad to jump right into Stormlight Archive. It's the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, that's what Lauren was telling me. He was like, you should really start with Mistborn and just kind of like ease your way in, but who am I to listen to smart people,
No,
plowing head first.
It's good. It'll give you an interesting perspective to have read Stormlight Archive first, and then go back, if you do choose to go back and read the other Cosmere books, because the Stormlight Archive is kind of like where a lot of the worlds start to collide in some ways, and then the other, or at least the early books in the other series are much more separate and standalone-ish than Stormlight Archive is. But it'll give you an interesting perspective.
It sounds kind of like when it comes to Stephen King, because I've read a lot of Stephen King. If I was to jump into the Dark Tower first without reading a bunch of his books that touch the Dark Tower, which was the opposite of my experience, because I had started out with The Stand, and then I read The Talisman, and then I read, It, and, several of the older ones like, Christine and Carrie and all those kind of ones. And then I started the Dark Tower, and that I enjoyed that a lot better, because then it's touching into worlds that I had already read about, and characters that I'd already met from other books. So it was much more enjoyable that way. So
you'll be okay with Stormlight, because you don't really meet entire characters until way later. So there's just little tidbits here and there, but it'll still give you an interesting perspective at the very least with that. Okay. We were talking about actually starting a book club, perhaps soon with Dragonmount. Crystal was talking about how she's doing one locally, and then we were we kind of want to do one online. So maybe we'll do we'll get you in there, and we could see if we could do a Brandon book or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So anyway, Rob from Weekly Wheel News. We didn't do I didn't get to do a proper introduction with you, but I want to pimp some of your stuff, because I greatly enjoy your map. Your map is pretty fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I don't have an image of the newer one, but the map, the pre-colored version of the map is my background when I do the first time reader show for Way of the Leaf. Every time I do their show, what I usually do is I use your map, and I give you kudos every time I use it. But I use your map, and I zoom in on the section of the map where the show is going to be, or where the chapters are going to be for that episode. So it's been a ton of fun using it for that. But you here's an image of the Westlands. You have a lot of I see you sent me a cool. So perfect. I'll download the Westlands one, and then we can contrast and compare between this and the colored one. But the one that what I usually do is I put the Indiana Jones dotted line, and if they're traveling from if they're traveling from Kyrian to somewhere else or whatever, I tried doing it animating it, but I'm not good enough to do that.
Yeah, I think that's when I saw you manually moving it was the last time I popped in and saw it. So I'm excited to see. Do you have the Indiana Jones?
Yes, I did. I was able to do that. That's
Nice.
easy to download the thing, but the animating it, no, I just had it. I had it manually up there. But and here's the colored version. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, and there's a lot of details on this. Like you have a lot of towns and points of interests that aren't on some of the other maps. And
yeah, I added some of the stuff that, if you remember in Eye of the World, when Bail Doman is giving a ride to Tom and Matt and Rand, and he's talking about some of the crazy things that he's seen in the world.
Yeah.
I added those kind of things in there too. Up in the north end of the Black Hills, then he talks about a mountain that's hollowed out like a bowl with a single metal spire through it. And if you come within, I think he says like a mile or something, then you die. So I put that in there. He talks about there's a city off of the coast. Yeah. So if you go north, because the Black Hills are in Andor. It's amazing how I've gotten good at geography in Randland since doing this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Wow.
So go up and to the left. Oh wait, no, that's a mountain. Sorry, I take back what I just said. Scroll up further.
Further.
Yeah, and then go to the.
Oh, there it is.
Right. Oh yeah, sorry. It's up just south of the Plains of Moredo. This one is the island that he talks about, where there's a city under a dome of crystal, and every time I think the sun or the moon hits it, then it sings. I can't remember.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, so that's what that is. Because I've had lots of people ask me, "What is that thing in there that I never knew about?" A lot of these, like I'll take creative license on where I put them if he doesn't specifically say or the book doesn't specifically say. But I added those in there. Like you can go over to what's it called? The island Tremalking, and you can see the female totem call there.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
You can go over to Karin, and you can see the male one being unearthed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and see, you scroll up a little bit.
That's amazing.
Scroll up a little bit. You can even see I added show stuff too. So there's the Waygate outside of Tarvalon.
The Waygate, yeah, that's awesome.
And then the Eye of the World is the show version that's up. Yeah, see, there it is.
Oh yeah, that's sick, man. I love it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of those things I kind of tried to kind of worlds are colliding kind of stuff. So
that's pretty freaking sick.
Show
and
stuff and book
the
stuff.
cool thing about this map is that people can buy it.
Yes.
And you have all different versions. You have the full world map. You have the
Westlands map that you're showing.
And the Westlands map.
And then there's the Westlands and the Io Waste and Shara, which is Christenson has the waste on it too, but the one with Shara has is the full continent.
Do you what is it printed on?
They are printed on canvas. And so they're a little bit pricier than if you're going to a poster shop on Etsy or whatever. Yeah. But and the color ones are a limited print edition. So I have to wait until I hit 100, before I can go in and make revisions now. So that kind of gives me some time to kind of keep a running list of things that I want to add, or things that I have noticed in reading and rereading that I left out. So, for example, if you see on there's a lot of the cities, the major cities will have the banner that says what they are, and then they'll have the flag of that city.
I can see the flag.
But for Bandar Evan, I forgot to put the flag on there, and then there was one other one. So
there's always it's like editing a book. You're always gonna find mistakes, right?
Yeah, you can find the igloo right there.
Oh, the igloo? Is it over here, right? Yeah, there it is. The notorious Love Shack. The Land of Madmen is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Or the Madlands. That's what they renamed it, right? And there you go. You updated the name.
That was the original name, but editor of the book got it wrong. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, RJ's letter was like, it's not Land of the Madman, it's the
Yeah.
Madman. So,
The big white book of bad art.
Big White Book of Bad Art, TM.
Also, am I remembering this incorrectly? I could be making this up entirely, but didn't the original map creator comment on
Yeah.
your?
Lisa Mitchell. I talked with her a lot when doing this. You know, we corresponded over Facebook a lot, and you know, she had said at one point, she was like, you know, I'm getting too old for doing this, because like she does it like pen and ink, like on real paper, you know, like mine's digital.
That's tough.
But she said like it's really getting to hurt her hands when she does it, and so if they ask her to do another one, she said, I'm going to call our director and I'm going to have you do it. So I'm like, cool. So that was awesome. But it's kind of funny because we were working on those changes simultaneously. Like, you know, that when it came out that the representation of Sean Chan in there was like the wrong size and proportions and stuff. I had heard some of those or seen comments on Theoryland, you know, alluding to that also. And so I was talking back and forth with Matt Hatch about, like, you know, you showing him early versions, and he's like, actually, Sean Chan's supposed to be this much bigger here and here, and I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So, like, I was talking with all sorts of people about, you know, other map makers and you know, other people in the fandom who have been to the archives and read the notes and all that kind of stuff. And so when I talked to her, and she saw mine, she's like, this is really cool. She said the changes that I'm having to make are only like less than 10% different of what you already have down here for Sean Chan and stuff. And so that was kind of cool, because, you know, I was doing the same research, but I hadn't, you know, quite stretched that peninsula we were just looking at far enough over, you know, and there were a couple rivers, some issues about rivers that, you know, weren't geologically correct that were being fixed. And so, yeah.
That's a ton of fun, man. I love that. But you don't just make maps, though, apparently. You also make pretty freaking awesome t-shirts. I love these t-shirts.
Ooh.
I make the Randland Souvenir Series, you know, Wheel Time inspired t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, inspired, definitely. This totally not the Emmonsfield from Wheel of Time.
Yes,
It's a different one.
Not officially licensed yet.
That would be fantastic. I mean, you have better... Honestly, you have better merch than Amazon does. I mean, not just t-shirts and maps.
That's not really saying much there, Tom, but
hey, man. That's fair. You got the dice.
So I make laser engraved dicing sets. You know, the t-shirts. I make aluminum bookmarks for each Aja and Ashaman rank. And I'm always thinking of new stuff to make. Right now I mean, like, most of the things that I have that I might show you are rejects, because like it comes off the press a little funky. So I have a mouse pad of my map, but the Mountains of Mist are entirely too misty. You know, like the print didn't quite hold there as much as it is other places, but I don't care. So not things that I could actually, like, you know, sell, but you know, the reject box that is ever growing. So, and we do, you know, Frosty mugs. We do partnerships with other content creators, and you know, do, you know, t-shirts and mugs and stuff for them too. So other podcasts and stuff. So
I posted the link. I posted a link to Creations by Jen, New Creations by Jen in chat.
That's my wife's company.
Yes, and it will link directly to Weekly Wheel News. But if you look at the top, there's the Wheel of Time content creators, and there's a whole bunch of people's stuff in there.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah,
not just me.
Ah, that's so cool, man. That is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Noman Garden. Amazon has a couple of things. I mean, they do have the rings. The rings are cool.
And the swords are really, really cool.
Oh, yeah, the sword, too. Yeah, the sword is cool. I mean,
but the t-shirts...
Like, the t-shirts are like... They're like... They're not... Like the ones that you have are like fun, you know what I mean? Like they're
clever. That's what Amazon is lacking, is the cleverness.
So like that came about because, like, so for my 20th anniversary, that ended up being the 21st anniversary because of COVID, when we went on our we went on a weekend getaway to the resort that we stayed at for our original honeymoon. And as we were leaving, we're walking through the gift shop, and there's like the sweatshirts that they sell, the t-shirts, and the little plates and the little spoons and all the fancy stuff,
Yeah.
And I was just like, it'd be cool if I could do these kind of things for souvenir shops in Randland for different businesses, different locations and stuff. And I started out first with Wine Spring Inn, Althor Farms, Coffin Ranch, and Ibarra Forge.
Awesome.
No, sorry, Lujan Forge.
Lujan. Oh yeah.
I saw Ibarra Forge is the show version of the T-shirt that I did. That one's different. That one says a cut above the rest.
Okay.
And Helena Westerman was a fan of that one, so
that's
got her blessing for that. So it started out with those 4, and then it just kind of took off from there. And so like I have a huge list of ones that I still haven't made yet, but there's no shortage of ideas, right? And so some ideas kind of like, go for a retro kind of a feel, simple print on a t-shirt, like you can get it in various colors. And the idea is like to make it subtle enough that it could be a real world business if you didn't know, and so it doesn't really necessarily stand out as like super nerdy. But if you're wearing it and let's say you're at a bookstore, you're at, a con
or wherever, out in the wild.
Yeah, out in anywhere, right? Like, just jogging down the trail or whatever. And somebody sees it who has read the books, they'll be like, hey, I recognize your t-shirt, or I get that. And you got instant friend, because we all know it's hard to find other people in the wild who've read The Wheel of Time.
It's why I'm starting the book club.
But yeah.
That's literally why I'm starting the book club. I want local people too to talk to about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so hard when we can only do this like, once or twice a year in person. Yeah. So that's a great idea.
That's really good. Light Blinded Fool, like the Almira Apothecary. I like that.
Yeah.
Never met a fan in the wild. I was at Disney. No. It was Disney. I was at Disney and I saw someone dressed as Matt on a Halloween event.
Oh,
they had an Ashendari and a hat and a handkerchief or a kerchief tied around their neck. And I was like, Matt! Like, oh my God, someone knew who I was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. That just reminded me of a completely off-topic story. ADHD. But it was we were at Disney again recently because we go a lot. That's pretty much all me and my wife do, is go to Disney and then sit in the house. I saw someone walking around. If anyone has seen Goodfellas, a guy had a t-shirt on with a guy sitting in a boat with one dog looking in one direction and another dog looking in another direction. Is a painting. And that's from Goodfellas. Joe Pesci's character steals a painting from some guy's house after he kills him. And that's the painting. And he says, like, I like this painting. It's weird. You got one dog looking one way, one dog looking the other way. And as the guy was walking by, I was like, oh, that fucking painting. One dog's looking one way. And he's like, oh my God, you're the first person. It's been 3 years I've had this shirt. And it was great. Awesome. Man. Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
That is
I'm going to get ready to press play on the thing, but we'll give people like 5 minutes. So go ahead. Anyway, go ahead, Kristen.
No, I was just going to say, anytime I move and I didn't have cable yet back in the day, I always watched Goodfellas. I had it on VHS, I had it on DVD, and that was my go-to movie.
If you look, obviously that it's based on true events, like real people. But they did change a couple of people's names for that. They changed Joe Pesci plays a guy named Tommy DeVito. But if you look up the real name of that person, you'll be surprised at what his real name is. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be watching episode 7 of which is The Dark Along the Ways, which is also, I think it's chapter 40 something in Eye of the World, named the same name. So if anyone wants to follow along and watch with us over on Twitch, you just go over to the Dragonmount Twitch, which is Dragonmount.com on Twitch. And it will prompt you if you have an Amazon account. Chapter 44. Thanks, No Garden. Oh my God.
I was trying to get there.
If you have an Amazon Prime account hooked to your Twitch account, it'll prompt you to join the watch party, and then you can watch along. And you can mute us independently of the show. So if you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to be in, a different chat or whatever, you can follow along on and still just have the sound of the show playing and mute us so that you don't have to listen to us. And
can you join the Twitch thing after you've already started?
Yes, if you just go to the Twitch, like our Twitch, which is Dragonmount.com, it'll and it's already started. It'll just say, "Do you want to join the watch party?" So it should be starting here for everyone soon. I clicked the button, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's starting correctly, but it's going. I haven't had too many problems with the watch party feature on Twitch, other than there was like a whole week where I forgot what it was. It was like all of season 2 wasn't available. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
it disappeared.
Season 2 just wasn't available for some reason in like the watch party feature. Like you could search, and season 1 was there, but season 2 was not there. Very weird. Anyway. For those following along, we're not watching on Twitch. We are at 30 seconds. We're not going to skip over the beginning sequence or the recap. That's weird that you can't do watch parties, No Garden. Is it connected? And is Amazon connected to your Twitch account with an active Amazon Prime? Because that's the only barrier that I know of that stops the watch parties from working on Twitch. Should be good now. I think it's working.
All right, will you give me the time again? I was
1 minute and 6 seconds.
Beautiful.
We just got our first shot of Blood Snow.
Yes.
And that would be Magdalena Sitova, who Kathy got to meet when she was in Prague.
Oh.
Our CEO Kathy Rob got to go to Prague, and she got to meet a lot of people, not just Magdalena, but she met her and this Trolloc, who she did naughty things with, apparently.
So on my latest episode of our podcast, It Might Be Dark Friends, then Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern was also there, and so he was telling us all about it. And he told me that at one point Kathy ran ahead of the Shanshan guards that were there to bribe, and so she got stuck behind the guards for a while.
That's pretty funny. I remember Kathy telling me someone was complaining, like, the Shanshan never go to the Two Rivers. They're messing stuff up, and Kathy was like, they have them here as like a fun thing for us.
Yeah.
they're not taping. Do you see cameras? They're not taping anything. So one thing I like, other than, the fight sequence, the camera, like everything is great for this.
Yeah, the choreography is amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. But the one of the things I like the most is the Aliener Companion's armor. I don't know why I like it so much. The 9Bs, like, I just really like it. It's fun. I think, like, I can't wait to see Aiel fight Aiel in season 3. Like, no hate on Tigraine, but like, or Shail, she wasn't raised a maiden. Like, I'm sure she's an amazing fighter, but like, you would think that someone raised a maiden would maybe be a little bit better of a fighter. but like
Mhm.
she's also actively in labor, 9 months pregnant. So
Yeah, so cut her some slack if she takes off her veil, okay? People.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I can't wait to see two fully, ideal, crazy, fighters, maidens of the spear, stone dogs, whoever, fighting in season 3. Like those are going to be some insane fight scenes. Ooh, yay. What's up, Zul? Yeah, we are rewatching episode 7 right now of Wheel of Time. We are currently at 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Tam is just finding Tigraine in the snow at the end of the blood snow. You see Rand's sword, which is pretty cool. I like that they made it a katana. Like I that's what RJ kind of based it off of. I mean, he threw a couple of different aspects into it, but I like that they went back and kind of made it a katana. The version I don't have, mine is actually, no, it's not up here. Mine is downstairs, but the other one, the cross guard is more like a medieval European cross guard. It's not like the circle flat katana. One of the pieces, and I if anyone has this, I would pay a lot of money for it. There's, I think, only like 6 were made. So the company that originally made the swords back in the day also made Padan Fane's dagger, but they only made like 10 or less than 10. And
Wow.
I really, really want one. It's like one of the only pieces of Wheel of Time, like original old Wheel of Time memorabilia, that I don't have.
Did it look like the chapter icon? With
Yes.
The wavy blade.
Yes, it had like a slightly wavy blade. The ruby was at the bottom of the hilt, not in the cross guard.
Yeah.
It was really cool though, and it came with a sheath, like a small sheath too, which was just sick. So, Rob, what did you think of the ways as they depict them in season 1? Oh, so I think it's pretty much the same in season 1 and season 2. But.
Yeah, I actually I thought it was interesting. I like the changes that they made. I think like the basalt kind of look was a little too much as far as like the actual pathways go, but I didn't mind it. I think that it was really cool how they have, like, I can't remember if in season 1, but season 2 they have lightning flashes where you can kind of see more of the bridges and stuff, which I really liked. I just felt like maybe just because it was a modular set that they actually built and moved around, that it just felt small.
Yeah,
it didn't feel so vast, but I don't really know how you do that kind of a thing. So, I mean, maybe if they had more of an establishing shot and then just kind of like zoomed in or panned around or something, and then you see him, that would be cool. So I liked it. I'm not as big of a fan of the Waygate to get in there as I was.
Yeah, I missed the door. I missed the door.
Yeah, I missed the leaf. But it seems like the show's kind of really leading into the you got to be channeling kind of thing, because I mean, there was the shot of Padan Fane with the leaf, but then they cut that out. They never used it.
They cut that out, yeah. I'm hoping they put that back in for the future stuff, or at least a reference to being. I mean, like, he obviously used the waves, so the only thing that we're alluding is that maybe one of the Forsaken helped him in and or out. But I hope they go back and do something with that. Especially, like, because if they change the Waygate, like, there could be a Waygate following the same lore of Waygates that close to Tarvalon. There was another grove there. But if they change the lore of the Waygates, that they were like like not made just beside Ogier
Steady. Yeah.
setting, like that's gonna, I don't know. I always really liked that aspect of it, so I hope they stick with that. But it, like, nothing says Ogier to me there other than, and Loyal doesn't even really, like, you know, have like the affinity that he has in the books.
I had a hard time picturing them ever being bright and clear. Like it seemed like it was
Yeah.
always a place of darkness, which was a pretty big change.
Yeah, no, my garden. They weren't only made next to the setting, but like that, I liked that part of the lore, and it
Yeah.
doesn't, and they didn't talk about that at all with this. Loyal doesn't bring it up, and I feel like Loyal would bring that up at this, like at some point here, he would give them the whole background to the ways and Waygate, and have to be, you know, told to stop.
Well, the whole point, right, was that they were built as a gift by the Middle Aes Sedai so that the Ogier could get from steading to steading. So
Yep.
that's why they put it outside.
That, and so that the men can travel without, you know, spend the least amount of time traveling from steading to steading without having to go, you know, through the overworld or whatever you want to call it. The other, like, I liked what it looked like, and like you said, yeah, in season 2, and I had a picture in here last week that I shared from season 2 that had like a freeze frame on the lightning.
You know what they really look like? Just since you said overworld, and now it's stuck in my head, like the original dungeons from the very first Legend of Zelda game, where, you know, like, and there's all that, you know, they reused a lot of the sprites, you know, because
yeah.
And that kind of like motif is what it reminds me of, like, you know, these basalt, you know, towers all around, and the ground even looks like a video game where you gotta, like, you know, go from spot to spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is that it, like, well, he said no Ogier would deface the guy. So I mean, they are referencing that, like, they're part of the Ogier lore a bit, I guess. That's Old Tongue though, right? That's not, he didn't say Ogier script at any point, right?
It doesn't look like
the Old Tongue as
to
depicted.
Me. Because you see it elsewhere, and it looks like right out of the companion, you know, that illustration of the writing.
I found
I've got woofy eyes.
Lightning Strike one. There it is. That's the lightning. That's one of the ones from season 2 with the lightning strike. Yeah, looks very much like basalt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, you can't ever picture that being leafy and green with apples on the trees, or.
Yeah, no.
Isn't there a beach or something in Ireland where, you know, they got the inspiration for all these, where it like really looks like this with the.
Yeah, I remember them sharing that picture. There's a beach or a cliff face next to a beach in Ireland that they liked, and they used that as inspiration for that. I believe they were going to film on location at some, either there or somewhere else, and obviously they couldn't, so they had to kind of rush and build this set.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I remember hearing that's why they had to kind of like retcon that you can't bring horses in there, because the horses on the movable sets in real life would have broken their legs and gotten hurt. And so they didn't want to have horses in the scene. They must have figured out a way to do that in season 2. Like, conveniently forget about that line back in season 1.
Yeah. I have
that. I love this shot. That's the kind of establishing shot I was thinking of. Oh, I must have seen it and then forgot about it, but there it was.
Yeah, the Giant's Causeway. That was the name of the place in Ireland. They were gonna film all over Europe, but obviously, you know, they couldn't.
I mean, you know, we hear the whistle and stuff. It would have been nice to see, you know, Pat and Fane kind of like, you know, following them. But then I think you might get too much like Lord of the Rings parallels where, you know, Gollum's like
with Gollum, yeah.
You know, like with the eyes and Fellowship.
Wow, that's a tiny image. I'm trying to find a good. I found a good image that looks almost exactly like the waves from the Giant's Causeway, but it's tiny, so I'm trying to find a better one.
Did you guys play the old school first person shooter Wheel of Time game?
Yes.
Because the waves was so creepy in that.
It was good. Like I really
like it was good.
Some of the settings in that game were legit good.
Yeah.
Like cool.
Shadow
The
of
game-
that freaked me out. Of course, I would
game
always
was
play it like
terrible.
in the middle of the night with all the lights off and the volume cranked up. But
If I remember correctly, I think the ambient music from the waves was pretty freaky.
yeah.
I wonder if I could find like a file somewhere of like all of the sounds from that.
I'm pretty sure you can find like all the cutscenes on YouTube, but yeah, that'd be cool. Sounds and the music from the old game.
I have it. I could just download it and like rip the file from somewhere.
What do you guys think about the way they did Machin Shin?
I'm not super thrilled with it.
It felt like bugs
Yeah, are
to
they
me.
leaves?
Like
Are
they were
bugs?
like they were beetles or something. I don't know.
But yeah,
But how do you depict wind on I don't know.
you know, when I saw the Fantastic Beasts movies, and they had the what do you call that? The big swirly black thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how I thought they were gonna do that, but then I'm like, well, you can't just like use the same effect because that'll be lame. But I thought that would have been a really great way to do it.
There it is. That's from the actual
Wow.
Giant's Causeway in Ireland.
This just looks like swarms of locusts or something flying around.
Mm-hmm.
The part that I didn't really like I'm fine with the way it looks. Like it looks okay. The part that I didn't like was that they kind of made it like it is talking to them and giving them things about their whatever. But
Yeah.
like I liked the idea that it was just like all of the souls of like the people being tortured or whatever, and like they were screaming and things like that was so much scarier than this.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I liked the kind of like psychological torment aspect of it that they did here, but it does get kind of like on the nose as far as not having to do a lot of character development.
Yeah.
But
I am curious to know what Loyal heard. It's like, and you've dog-eared those pages in that one book.
Elder Hammond always hated you. You're always way too hasty. Even your mother wouldn't marry you off.
No one likes your ears.
That's what I missed about him. He doesn't have any ears, does he?
They're hidden under his under all his hair. You'll never finish.
Giving him some like little Yoda inflatable ears or something. But.
Yeah. No matter how much no matter how many edits you go through, there will always be misspelling. I wonder if when we see other Ogier, we'll get to see ears. Like now that their budget is higher and all that, like we'll be able to see like, oh, there's a plethora of Ogier. They look very different. And here's some with ears and big, huge, droopy eyebrows.
Yeah. But they did like in the animated, the Origins one, like the Ogier looked really cool and they were able to go into a little more detail.
Yeah. I'm hoping we
aside
get
from like pulling a whole boat from a tree, that was pretty lame. But
yes, I hope we get to see a setting and like a group of Ogier. Like that would be sick. Oh, it's Guy.
Yeah.
He is so much fun. I love Guy so much.
Guy, and Roberts.
Yeah, I I messaged him after I watched the screener of episode 7 or 8 of season 2. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I messaged him and I was like, "Oh my god, you're fucking Kaido Kane!" And he's like, "I know, it's so fucking cool." He was really excited about it. He's really excited to finally be able to talk to everybody like now about it. So like he's gonna be talking. I don't know if they've announced it yet. So I'm not gonna.
Yes.
Did he?
Yes.
Matt?
Wait, what?
No, so yeah, I'm not gonna say it yet. So we are in talks with him and his agent to see about getting him to do an interview with us soon, but he has to get permission from Amazon first. But he's really excited about doing interviews and talking about it. Yes, he will be at MalkirCon and WotCon, but he is going to be appearing soonly on another show that folks watch and talking about stuff.
Okay, but I thought you were talking about WotCon. So.
No, it's not mine to announce the other interview though, so I'm not going to say it yet. But we're hoping we can get him second.
Nice. Guys gotta get this guy too.
Yeah, the feathers do look a little like Party City.
Yeah, I got. I was really hoping that we'd see Agomar like not dead. But
yeah, I was hoping that we'd get to see them come back to Shinar.
Never really go back to Shinar. So.
Yeah, and then like now if they do the whole we're not going to go past book 3 yet, but if we get the very famous return to Agromar's estate later in the series. No, they kind
of made him more of a jerk in this thing.
It does, yeah. Andrew, no, they have the same costume designers. They just have a better budget now.
Yeah.
And there he is, Mr. Fane.
I wonder, like,
I love his walk.
Regular people in Ranland ever just like.
It's a different costume. Sharon Gillam wasn't on season 1.
No, she was hired for season 2. It was. Okay.
I was thinking of Davina. She's. I keep mixing them up. The hair, makeup, and prosthetics.
Oh yeah.
And then costume. Because I talked to them. I interviewed them, and I talked to them at the same time. Which we should be getting that interview up on the Dragonmount YouTube soon.
The costume designer in season 1 was Isis Musenden.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so season 2 is Sharon Gillam.
Yes.
I like the new rings, and I like the whole addition of the stone. They're very
chunky.
Yeah, they are huge. They are very big.
It's not practical.
It's not.
Like I have a much smaller wedding ring and I knock it on things all the time. I can't imagine wearing something like that. But I do like that they pointed out here that she didn't have the stone, and they're kind of playing up that significance for people that have not read the books.
Yeah. I think it's people like to display their. Well, I mean, hey, listen, if you're talking about practicality, the shawls were never practical. to be able to try to wear a shawl all the damn time.
Yeah.
But people like to display their, houses of certain other properties that, I don't want to give any voice to. But having, your Aja in the ring, that I still don't understand why they don't have more freaking. Was that guy that just walked by them? I saw the blonde top knot. They don't have, that other than wearing the, the different clothing, they don't really have any ways to display their Aja colors.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, see that and it didn't look like Guy, but it is another blonde top-knotted man. Yeah, you'd break your finger if you punched someone wearing that
Yeah.
ring on the other. Yeah, no scars on the neck. I do like the setting here. Like I like all of the architecture. It's very different from everywhere else. I like that they've been doing that with all of the different cities. They look very distinct and different when they go to the different cities, and I like that.
Yeah.
How about the Min change? What did you think about that?
I think the aging up of all the characters that they talk about, and I think it makes more sense for her to be introduced the way she is here.
Yeah, I'm fine with the location. The location change of her didn't bother me.
Me either. I like that they aged everybody up. It was always a little, I don't know. It was weird because Egwene's like 16, and I liked it better. I like it better having them older. Also having like a relationship between a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old, and like if they were going to do sex scenes, like that would just be wrong. So I'm glad they aged them up.
Yeah.
And Kay Alexander is amazing.
Yeah, I want more of her on screen.
Yeah.
Give us more character development for Min.
I'm hoping season 3 we're going to see a lot of her. Yeah. And I guess she's going to end up going to the waste with them, depending on what happens. Unless she splits off with the girls and they go, elsewhere. Okay. Arosa, all right. You prefer showman over bookman? All right.
Okay, I don't understand that one still.
Which one?
I have no idea. It looks like any other baby. So it wasn't. So the baby Rand was holding.
I like that they still did the specks of light too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope they continue with that, like they do in the books.
Fireflies fighting the darkness.
Yeah. I think Min will go back with Swan. Yeah, I think so too. We need the lap dances for sure. We need to see some Sistara dancing for sure. The change to her power is I feel like strictly for it being a TV show, and having just floating symbols is less easy to interpret for the layman, people who haven't read, who haven't read the series. Oh, Andrew, that's cool.
Them like side by side, but I think that like her effect and the wolf dream effect like look too similar to me.
That's true. It was very similar. I really like the way they did the wolf stuff. I think that's almost entirely book accurate.
Yeah.
Not that matters, but like I that is exactly as I imagined it.
One change I'll be glad for is like not hearing about like what Perrin smells every single second of the day.
Though I do hope they reference it sometimes, like just as like a fun throwaway, like a
because like in here in the ways like they made that comment about his eyesight, and then season 2, Avienda and Bane and Shiad talk about how he can see that all my far away and stuff.
Yeah, you see well for a wetlander. Oh yeah, for sure, Rosa. We're definitely the sea folk will everyone everyone's gonna love the sea folk when they come on screen. What book are you on, Andrew? We're only spoiling up to book 3 right now, but at the end of the show we will jump to full series spoilers. But we'll give you a warning before we do that.
people give the show a lot of flack that Perrin doesn't really get to talk or do anything in the first 2 seasons, but as far as like Marcus's acting ability goes, like he doesn't have to say anything, and he can convey so much with just a simple look, or a a pout or a sneer and introspective look or something like that. And I'm just amazed by his acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them are great.
Yes.
The season 1, I get why they kind of sidelined him. There's a lot of characters. They're introducing a lot of things. They can't do everybody.
Yeah.
So, giving him this trauma that he's working through is an easy way to sideline him without having to invest too much into, it's an easy way to sideline him quickly, without having to build any story to begin with.
Yeah. Because really, like, in the books, aside from, his killing the White Cloaks when Hopper died in book 1,
Yeah.
then, you really don't, you really don't have a reason for, his internal conflict that he's constantly dealing with, aside from like, losing himself to the wolves. But I mean, as far as like, the axe versus the hammer kind of a thing.
Yeah. The internal struggle that he had in the books was just like, I'm a big guy and I don't want to hurt people.
Yeah.
It was so disingenuous. I feel like this is so much more real, and it felt, there's a few storylines in the show that I think are better than the books, to be perfectly honest. Perrin is one of them.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve is the other one. Ooh, A Memory of Light. That's cool. So if you've passed the prologue of A Memory of Light, you've met Bayard, my character. I'll never not bring that up when we talk about A Memory of Light. I just finished A Memory of Light audiobook, and this was the first time I've done it on audiobook, and it was interesting hearing them read Bayard's parts. It was fun. And when he comes back, oh yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. He makes a second appearance, and I liked it. The only thing I didn't like about the majority, like a story point that I wasn't a fan of and still am not, is this play that they're doing, Egwene and Perrin stuff. Like I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah. The books kind of alluded a little bit during like that part with the ravens and the fox getting attacked, but then later on reread, it's like he loves her like a sister, and so leaning too far into it here is just uncomfortable and weird, and I hated it. Like
I got it in the books a little bit, because it's young kids growing up around each other, a girl, they're not like dating, it's just like liking them from afar, because the dating isn't a thing. It's more puritanical in the Two Rivers, which again was something I didn't really like in the books, but like that makes more sense. Like, oh yeah, it's a girl and she's pretty and smart and fun. So yay, maybe Perrin has likes her too, but
but it seems like it's going like way back too far to like the CW here. Because all leading up to this, Rand and Egwene have been together for a long time. Like we hear in episode 1, when Tam and Rand are walking down the quarry road, that like they've been an item since they were kids. So you think that they'd be a little bit more secure in their various relationships by now, and especially since Terrence, but we don't know how long Perrin was married. I don't think. Seems like it wasn't all that long.
Decent amount of time, at least, yeah. But they didn't talk about how like it being like how recent it was, but
and they didn't really explore it a whole lot. But I still like, especially in rewatching season 1, I suspect that Layla was pregnant, just the way that
Mhm. Oh yeah.
that's a common that yeah. I mean, I
Blade
could see
Parent
that
holds
too.
her from behind at the start and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And they put their hand on their stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the thing with the wolf, disemboweling her and stuff. But
that could have been. I mean, that could have been something that they had and cut. Like
Yeah.
maybe something that they were gonna try to do, and then they were like, it's too much.
I wish they were able to better cut things out without leaving remnants that really hint at it, that like make it obvious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the one thing.
Hey, listen,
that bugs
Robert
me.
Jordan did that too with Mazrim Taim. So
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
gonna,
true.
not gonna complain.
So it's canon then. So we're good.
Yeah, canon. Definitely canon. The one that got me was Ingtar's scene at the end of book 2 is easily one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. So like not having that was a little upsetting, but that's not like a dig on the story at all. That's just like something I personally wanted to see. They do.
Yeah.
The Layla is a dark friend thing, or else I really was a proponent of that as well. Like I was like, Layla is a fucking dark friend, 100%. Like right before Perrin hits her, she's standing there like with the freaking axe over her head or hammer over her head.
Yeah, and the Trollocs already dead.
So, but Rafe and the actor that plays Layla both said she isn't. But that doesn't mean they're not lying.
Our friends lie. Oh.
Sure. Rafe is definitely
lie by nature.
I see, like, I think everybody now, like when I was rereading A Memory of Light, I saw all of these. Lan is the only one that's still a little fuzzy to me, but all of these actors as the characters now, just that's it. That's who I see now. Rosamund is what like immediately became Moiraine for me.
Yeah.
Lan, I don't know why I have such a strong version of like Lan in my head, but Daniel Henney, I love Daniel Henney as Lan. He's fantastic, but I have this other version of him that's in my head that I just can't get to mesh with.
The Lan in my head was always bigger and more just chiseled. His features were sharper, but yeah, no, I love Daniel Henney. That was
like an
does
Elder
not bother me at all.
Conan the Barbarian.
I was just thinking, yeah.
That's how I pictured him. So do you think this is meant to be Bukama? In like in hiding, maybe? I think we're gonna find out that this is Bukama at some point. If they want to explore that storyline.
But the character name is different that they gave him.
Yes.
I think it's like Seer or something like that. I can't remember.
He could be in hiding.
Let's see. But yeah, it's possible. Most of them out here are all scattered,
Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to check the trivia for this. Where are we? We are currently at 37 minutes and 42 seconds. So let's see what the trivia is for
the teleportation land.
The closest thing is 35 minutes. Moiraine and Lan first met traveling after the Battle of the Shining Walls. Neither seemed to like the other very much. Lan tossed Moiraine into a pond, and in retribution, Moiraine caused ants to attack Lan.
Yeah, she put the lake on him.
that was one of my
that into season 2. That was so good.
Yeah. The that whole retirement village stuff was fantastic. I loved Varen and Adelaus.
I didn't love Lan needing to pee on a tree though.
That was. Are you kidding me? I thought that was fantastic.
It was funny, but I was just like, really?
Well, it's because no one ever uses the bathroom in the Wheel of Time. I am convinced Rafe did that.
They talk about, like going to the latrine or having somebody dig latrines, but you never actually see somebody go until I think one of Brandon Sanderson's books where he actually talks about it.
They talk about it, but you never see anyone use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Or even come from using the bathroom. It's never just like, they never reference the bathroom at all.
I don't think I ever realized that.
Yeah, it's a running joke. There was a running joke about how no one ever uses the bathroom in the Wheel of Time. So it was like he was the first person to ever use the bathroom in the Wheel of Time. I'm convinced that that's why Rafe did that. She does such a good job as Nynaeve, and I think
she's perfect.
Yeah, I remember that.
I love. I really think she embodies her feelings very well, and seeing her kind of relax in these moments with Lan was really special, and I think they do a great job with this.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Maria, she got to meet Daniel Henney and everyone when they went over to Prague with Harriet, but she has a real fun story about Daniel Henney and meeting Daniel Henney that she likes to tell. He chased her down a hallway or something and was like, Maria, and she was like, I assumed he was talking to somebody else because there could be no way that good looking of a man was shouting after me down a hallway. The armor is pretty good looking too. I like the costuming, all of the art design, everything has been just fantastic. Ew. Did he have those scars in episode 1? In the butt rock scene? I think so.
I don't know.
Now,
I don't think anybody ever looked at his back, his upper back in that scene. So
no, I was just me too. I was just so concentrated on his butt. I have Daniel Henney's butt search in my Google now, so that should be fun. I wonder what kind of ads I'll start getting now. Oh, get it, Zoe? The Tarwin's Gap is interesting too. It's much more Leonidas, Thermopylae than in the books, even though that is what Robert Jordan was using as a reference for it. I always saw it as a larger area. Yeah. Same with you, Andrew. Hope we'll see you next week for the finale. And I want to hear how you like A Memory of Light. Make sure to come back and let us know.
Rand can't find the void. They've not leaned into or explained the flame in the void at all. And
nope. I hope that they will. I think we'll hopefully hear more about it later on. All of the training. I missed all of those scenes where Lan was training the boys and they really started to learn how to use their weapons. I need more of that.
Well, they're going to be traveling.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say they're going to be traveling a bunch together in the next season, so hopefully we get to see it then. I would assume we're going to get to see it then.
I would love to have had just him in that first episode when Rand draws the bow because he hears the rocks falling in the wolf or whatever,
Yeah.
Remember the flame lad and the void, just insert that little line,
One line, that's it. the Yosha looks like a baby in
It's
He does.
like just comparatively to him in season 2, just like
mhm.
I don't know if it's just like he did some growing up between the 2 seasons or the makeup is just that good, but like he looks significantly more
The shaved head
babyish.
makes a huge difference. Like with
Yeah.
his curly, it's very boyish. His
See,
curly hair.
I think Matt was
Rosa
wrong.
thinks so too.
I think here, Ren has shite hair.
Oh, you don't like his hair?
No, it looks like a Cabbage Patch doll.
It, the wigs are significantly better in season 2.
Yeah.
It's that money.
Yep. And
Plus, I just think the shaved head was a good decision. Not only like I think
No.
did it look better, but you know, because he's trying to hide the fact that he looks like
is an Aiel. Yeah, I like that too.
And
Yeah.
I don't think they explored that much, you know, other than Matt constantly making comments about how bad his hair was. But like, you know, undercover, I think it was good, you know.
Cabbage Thatch Kid. Oh.
He does. He has that curly yarn looking hair like a cabbage.
But you know what though? I think that I don't think Yosha's wearing a wig in this because he actually shaved his head after season 1 was wrapped, and Rafe told that story that he told us on the prank that he pulled on Yosha after they wrapped, which entirely had to do with him shaving his head. So I wonder if that's his real hair.
I wonder if he has a tattoo of Xavier Roberts.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yosha, Marcus has a wig in season 2, but he's not wearing a wig in season 1. And Yosha doesn't have one either in season 1 or in season 2. So that's just his real hair. Looks like a Cabbage Patch hair.
Can I also say I really want Lance's blankets. That velvet looks amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, he's probably in a room fit for a king. You know, like they're gonna give him.
He's got the Daishan suite.
Yeah.
Daishan.
He's got some strong eyebrows.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see after it would probably not be in season 3, it would probably be like season 4 when Nynaeve leaves the tower and is more connected with Lan. I want to see more of that.
I'm curious if they'll do like her breaking the block the same or
That's
totally different, because they've already kind of leaned into like, you know, her time with Rima, I think, you know, when she said,
she channeled a little bit without being angry, so at the very least they're making the block function differently than it did in the books, which is fine. Like not a big deal.
That was one of my favorite scenes from the books, though. I hope we get that one.
Yeah. Though I liked what they did with that in the show, where it was like, you know, how she used the analogy of like a patient coming to you and healing them, and that is something that helped her be able to finally channel, where, you know, no one else has been able to do it for her yet. So
yeah,
I like that. They've done
really
a lot
looking
of
forward to, you know, Nynaeve versus Moghedian.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
The thing that I keep reminding people is that Rafe and the writers of the show have the advantage of the entirety of the Wheel of Time being out when they write these episodes, so they can lean into stuff and like adapt things as Robert Jordan adapted. Like Robert Jordan changed how the Idam work like pretty quickly in the series because it didn't function very well in the written versions, and they just, you know, kind of jumped that into being immediately with the show. So there's a lot of little tidbits that they're able to alter and change and adapt to how things function later, or as a way to better foreshadow things that may happen later for the show. And I like how they do some of it.
The dishes still aren't done.
Narg. The other thing that I wasn't a huge fan. I'm glad they finally showed this. But I went, if you go back and rewatch the previous episodes, the little bits of channeling that you see him do here, you don't actually see in those episodes.
Yeah, because it's like this is the reveal.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see more of this part earlier though.
Yeah, it would have. I feel like it would have. But you know what? That would have just been like in the books where it's like it's not a mystery on who the dragon is. You would immediately know who the dragon is, and they didn't want that. I think that is something that they did really well. Was for non-book readers, keeping that a secret. I think they did that very well. That's
like
such
that,
a good.
The scene where he busts the door down.
Yeah.
Like I really would have loved if it had blown up by lightning. But that might be a little bit too obvious.
Yeah, that would have been obvious. There was that shot that they just showed of Tar-Valon with Dragonmount in the background was really nice, with the Dragonmount smoking. So do you think she's at this point seen her relationship with Rand? And that's why she lied about the thing?
She sees 3 beautiful women.
Oh. It is the hair. It's definitely the hair that makes him look boyish. Yeah, it's definitely the hair.
It's so curly, it makes his forehead smaller too, which is a very boyish look.
I love that Min is so much more snarky in the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always imagined her as
putting
snarky.
up with these kids.
Yeah. I always imagined her as snarky in the books, and she was like, she had a quick tongue in certain situations, but
yeah.
And this really shows Tam, this is Tam. This is perfect Tam. Showing his kindness and his empathy. Stopping and actually helping her through the birth.
Yeah, because in the books he just finds Rand already born.
Yeah, and her dead. In fact, he said he was blue with the cold.
Yeah, something about his eyes though just look weird. Did they do de-aging on him, or did they just shave him?
I think they just shaved his face.
Yeah,
and threw a wig on his head. I don't think they had the budget for de-aging in this season. When I heard what's his name, Mickelhatton, Daniel Mickelhatton or something like that, the actor that plays Tam. I think it's Michael Mickelhatton, something like that. When I heard he was playing Tam, I was like, "What? Roose Bolton is playing freaking Tam?" But he did a good job. Michael Mickelhatton.
He's playing the best dad in Randland. What?
I know, right? The greatest father of all time. He's done a good job though so far, and I think we're gonna get a redemption arc for Abel Cawthon if we get the scene. Yeah, I think we're gonna see more of Tam and Abel in their travel to Tarvalon to look for Matt and Rand.
I'm
They
so
talk-
excited for the next season for the Battle of the Two Rivers and stuff because, you know, when I was talking to Lauren and he had the idea that, like, you know, maybe why it's not called Emmons Field yet is because when maybe that's going to be part of the way that Perrin inspires people when he comes back is he will tell them the story of Manetheren that he was told when he was leaving to kind of psych them up, and then maybe they name the town that later.
That would be sick. That would be
I like
fun.
that.
But I do think that there was, you know, based on some of the deleted scenes and some of the exchange in the first episode of season 1, where Tam is giving his little monologue about the wheel and, you know, how we get better, you know, try again next time to be better and stuff. Just the exchange and what he particularly says during the coffins, you know, when Matt's handing the lantern and stuff. And then there was the cut scene with Egwene and Tam where he's talking about, like, there was a fire at the inn years ago. I suspect that that Matt had a younger sibling that, you know, he did something and the sibling died and the parents couldn't get past that. And that's kind of like what caused the rift, why they are so mean to him.
Yeah.
It's all in my head, you know, like, but I would love to see it. You know,
that would be a really interesting bit of backstory for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if he was opening a firework and that's what burned the inn down.
Oh man, that would be perfect. That would just be perfect. That's a perfect throwback to that.
Hey, writer's room, call me. I got ideas.
You and Rami, right, in season 4.
I could do it.
Maybe we can get a map in frickin' in the show. I want to see a map.
I know, right? I mean, we say the little, you know, the White Coats planning their little risk game, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to see how they did in Rings of Power, you know, showing the story progress with the map and the kind of 3D effect.
I really liked that. But, you know, I feel like they probably want to stay away from, you know, having the two shows compared to each other and then also have the similarity to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but you can't have a fantasy show without a map.
I know. We need a map.
Have a fantasy book without a map.
No. Totally agree. I want a map, damn it.
I hate where stuff is.
This is definitely one of the things I hate is the blight. The way these, I'm hoping that it's just this section of the blight looks like this, and it's not the entirety of the blight or just weird
spider trees.
They look like the base of mangrove trees. If you've ever seen a mangrove tree, like that's what their root system looks like.
They're the ones like in the swamps, right?
Yeah.
And they're up.
Yeah. They look exactly like that, except then there's a tree on the top of it.
Yeah. I believe that this is one of the sets that they had to rebuild as a mobile thing with, you know, because of COVID, but they had originally like had found a location. Maybe it was in Florida. I don't know, like where they would have, because they had the idea
in the
for
real
this
world
before they had to recreate it.
Oh, it was a good episode though. It was a good episode.
I tell you, when I drew my map, it took a long time to draw those little blight trees everywhere. Got really good at the copy and paste once the section was done.
The other thing about the blight though is, you know, all of the sickly stuff and the dangers of the blight, I feel like just aren't evident there, you know, especially because like he touches everything in a little bit and nothing bad happens. Like barely anything happens to him that's bad from touching stuff. So I just feel like the blight was a little short, but hopefully it's just that section. And like when we see more of it, they'll explore it a bit more and like flesh it out a bit more.
I wanted to see the worm. I wanted the creatures. I really wanted the creatures.
With hands, with weird hand tentacle things.
Yeah.
And even just like the heat, how it got so much hot, like it didn't even seem like it was all that warm there.
Yeah. So I'm going to change us over to the full book spoiler thing for a little bit while we wrap up the show, just in case we want to, if anyone wants to bring up any spoilery things. Yeah, the Jumara, the worms.
Yes,
And they were
the worms.
The blight has always been fascinating to me. Back in the day, I did a tabletop RPG. I DM'd a tabletop RPG of the Wheel of Time, and I had our group in like the polar ice cap, but the blight. It was still the blight, but it was in the pole. So I made like weird, twisted shadow spawn mammoth and a yeti and things like that. And I've always wanted to see, because they talk about how the Jumar are afraid of the things in the mountain passes. Like, I want to know what those things are so bad.
Yeah. Did you see the Jumara that I drew in the map? Like, that was so fun. It was so fun. I went and reread River of Souls quite a bit when I was drawing that guy.
Is it in the Westlands one or the?
Yes.
Westlands one. Okay. Let's look.
Well, and they didn't even touch on like the transition to the blight, the lesser blight. There was no. It was just we walked up on it.
Yeah. It was just like, there it is. Oh yeah, there it is. Here there be worms.
See worms.
That's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
They got like the weird arms coming out from around their mouth and stuff, and then like all the creepy legs that don't do anything all along their body. So freaky.
Oh, and there's another one right there.
They never stop growing.
And there's another one right there. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. I'm hoping for more shadow spawn, or at the very least, like a further exploration of shadow spawn or the blight's effect on the terrain and stuff like that in the future seasons. But I would understand if they don't do it. It's just like, it's not as scary. Like the blight isn't as scary as it was in the books, and I feel like they're doing such a good job dialing up the horror in the show in other aspects that it would be like such a loss not to explore the thing that's actually one of the things that's actually freaking terrifying from the book.
Yeah, and like that chapter in the Eye of the World, how it's like a chase through there, like, and the tensions is building and building and building, and all of a sudden, like, boom, you're at the Eye of the World, like, but.
No, this is a very casual stroll.
Yeah. It's just a Sunday walk through the trees.
Yeah.
Watch out for that little skull, like, don't touch anything, but touch everything.
Yeah. Don't touch anything, but sleep on the ground.
Sit down
on the ground.
What was the thing in, like, I'd be okay if we didn't get Drakkar, or if we got a different version of Drakkar or something, but I definitely want to see the blighted lands that are in the thing, and especially Thankendar. Like, I want to see the slopes of Thankendar. Like,
and like the foragers made of rock, like those guys, and
the forgers were always so like
we always the people in the cages and like kill them for their souls and their blood and stuff.
Yes, that was so freaking. I don't want to say it was cool that they were murdering people and taking their souls, but it was so much more interesting than them just having their own armor. Like I showing it would be very reminiscent to like the orcs in Rings of Power and Lord of the Rings, like forging the armors and stuff like that. But I feel like they could do it in such a way that it would still be different enough that it wouldn't look too comparatively the same.
I remember I did a cover of the Weekly Wheel News where I had who's the guy in the third Thor movie, the rock guy that's voiced
Korg.
by Korg, and so I had him as like the spokesperson, because the forgers of Thalkandar were going on strike, for like,
They're trying to unionize.
Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun. But
I love all your Inquirer like headlines. I think I have one of them in here.
I can't believe I've been doing it for 5 years already.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, there it is. I know I had one.
And my first issue of the 6th series is like 95% done and has been 95% done for the past 2 weeks. So I really need to finish it and get it out.
Yeah. All right, so what do we got here? We have Queensguard cracking down on inherent campers. That's funny.
Sean Shane publicity tour continues. Locals not buying it.
Fantastic.
Daughter
Air renounces throwing home to become home brewer. Oh, God, fantastic. Oh, they substituted Great Value brand in my online order. It's not my fault, Ilyana.
I think it's weird because so Ishamael, he's trapped in the Eye of the World, this huge seal in the ground, super cool looking place, right? Lanfear gets the fancy, cool moon dial thing up above in all the caverns that look like the Shattered Plains from Stormlight, right? They got those cool settings, and then all the rest of them are just these cheap statues that they move around from place to place.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That place, that cave in that little valley, that was that they filmed that on location. That wasn't a set.
Yeah,
that was which I thought was pretty cool. To the Lorne Orderment disparagement. Sorry, Noman Garden.
You're our favorite gnome.
He does take very strong offense when you insult lawn ornaments, ornamental lawn statues.
Well, I do respect garden gnome culture. So I love my garden gnome outside. So it's just
my favorite garden gnome will always be you, Noman Garden. Thank you so much for coming and hang out with us.
Thanks for having me.
For behind the scenes, I've been trying to get Rob to come for a little bit, but he's super busy all the time because he's constantly adulting and doing work I know, and I feel like such a flake because you guys are Rob's gonna be on and it advertises, and then I don't show up, and then I'm just it's fine.
So when I was late for today, I'm I can't believe they're still having me on here. These guys must think I'm the biggest flake in the world because this is the third or fourth time happens. Where we were supposed to do something and then something came up. So
real life happens all the time, man.
Yeah, we were doing a rush order, and it was just that some of the things were just not coming out right.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm just crap. I still got to figure out the Twitch thing because I never used Twitch.
Well, we made it pretty easy for you, I think, right?
Yeah, I was able to log on, as our conversation was kind of winding down, where I could kind of
I was secretly telling you how to do it when I was giving people instructions on how to do it.
Yeah.
It was almost it was less conspicuous than when I was trying to teach Harriet how to use Streamyard when we invited her to the marathon.
Oh yeah.
The truth Tom tells you might not always be the truth that you think you hear.
Except I'm nowhere near as clever as the Aes Sedai. So, but before we go though, I'm going to share in our chats again the link tree to the Weekly Wheel News link tree, so you can see all of Rob's stuff there. Make sure you have the podcast and Creations by Jen. Go, just go and support. Even if you don't buy anything for Rob's stuff, just go and support Creations by Jen.
It helps pay my mortgage. We don't get any paychecks, but it pays the mortgage. So
there you go.
That's what's important.
What's coming up next for you for the podcast?
So we just recently put out our 6th episode. It's been very sporadic. We're 3 different content creators who all have crazy busy lives and kids and grandkids and stuff, and it's just it's been a Herculean effort to pin us down at once to actually schedule and execute a podcast. So since the January, I think, was our first episode. Like we've done like 6, and we're supposed to do it every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
ADHD up the wazoo, you know.
Yeah.
But so it's been a lot of fun. And so hopefully soon we will, you know, possibly have some merch. I mean, I've attempted to make stickers a few different times, but like, you know, life happens or another project comes up and I'm just like, put that on the back burner. So it's in my bullet journal. It just keeps getting moved from month to month to month. So that's been fun. So basically it's, you know, it's myself and Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern and Alyssa from One Power Ballads. You know, we just talk about like, you know, the highs and lows of content creation and the, you know, things that we love in the fandom and things that are going on with the show and stuff. And it's been fun. It's a very casual, chatty podcast, you know. So hopefully we'll be ramping up, you know, some more episodes soon. Now that season 2 is out, and you know, hopefully, you know, Lauren is recovering from like, you know, being under the mountain of videos he's been trying to crank out. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah, and Alyssa's been doing like crazy, like 4-8 shows a day, you know, like the musicals that she's doing and stuff. And so it's been nuts. So we're looking forward to just kind of like, you know, breathe, and maybe we can get together and chat again soon.
Hang out and chat about it's fun, like on the downtime. It's almost like Brandon Sanderson on your downtime from doing other content creation, you do content creation.
Yes, exactly. It's therapy. It's really a therapy session is what it is for all 3 of us. So it's called They Might Be Dart Friends. It's, you know, it's Wheel of Time focused, but it's also very inspired by They Might Be Giants and a lot of their songs and their song titles and their goofiness that, you know, we've enjoyed over the years. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we're doing that. Like I said, I'm doing the weekly Wheel News as often as I can, you know, doing merch and stuff and
making amazing maps.
Yeah.
So, beautiful maps.
Thank you. And that's kind of what I've been doing.
Awesome.
In the meantime, you know, still looking for jobs. So like, you know, enjoying my free time as much as I can to, you know, do this kind of stuff. So, yep, that's me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming to hang out. And next week we will have another special guest, which I've been kind of hinting at the entire episode with my shirt. It's going to be The Way of the Leaf, but it's not just our puppet friends. It's also going to be first-time readers Kay Sadai and Josh from their first-time reader shows as well. So they're going to join us. We're going to do
fun.
Yes. We're going to do it a little bit different next week, where instead of at the end of the show where we do full book spoilers, we're only going to spoil up to the book that they're currently on, which they just finished Crown of Swords. So next week, it's just going to be up to Crown of Swords for the end of the show. Like we usually do full book spoilers. Next week, we do just a Crown of Swords. Just so, because I'm trying to be able to I want to get, you know, first-time readers on the show from the other content creators, and I figured this was the best way to do it. We could just kind of alter our spoiler level to the guest, and then that way we can get more people. Well, I think that's it. The only other announcement that I want to make is I know it's early, but for Christmas, we will not be doing an episode that Monday on Christmas Day, because I'm sure everyone has stuff to do. And I'll probably be in New York, to be perfectly honest. But until next time, say goodnight, Rob.
Good night, Rob.